How narcissists argue. No matter what the argument, no matter how trivial, narcissists always have to be right. The argument could be about your favorite actor's middle name and or a more serious relationship issue, and the narcissist is still going to make sure that they are right regardless of what it is that it is over. And this could spark a narcissistic rage even bigger than the question that was asked was ever meant to come to. Narcissists are not interested in the truth. They want to win, essentially. Winning keeps those delusions alive that they are perfect and omnipotent and superior to you and everyone else on this planet. And they will always want to have the upper hand, especially in relationships. First, we have blaming you, and narcissists are masters at the game of blame shifting. They find reasons why every single thing that happens, down to the weather, is your fault. They'll struggle to find reasons to blame you whenever questioned, so they will abuse you until you don't question their blame and you accept their blame and their toxic shame that comes along with that. Crying is number 2, and narcissists, especially female narcissists, know when to turn the crocodile tears on so that her male partner or victim is going to be more likely to back down, because nobody wants to see a female in distress, and her victim is going to be made out to be the abuser if these types of things continue on. Accusing you of not listening. When you stick to your guns, it seems like narcissists always accuse you of not listening to them. In their mind, they are always the correct one, regardless of the situation or the question. So if you disagree with them, you must not be listening to what it is that they are trying to convey to you. And in a similar vein, if they may accuse you of not thinking about it properly or something similar. This implies that if you were thinking about it properly, you would agree with them. Twisting the facts. And narcissists are happy to bend the truth, whatever it is, to fit their narrative, especially if it proves them right and you wrong. It's frustrating for them. It's frustrating hearing them blatantly twist facts and changing history, saying that they never said that, something that they said 5 seconds ago. Narcissists can be vague. They sometimes resort to this because they like saying things such as, "you wouldn't understand," and then not continuing to elaborate on a subject. Or they will spout off complete and total nonsense that they think they know more about. Whatever it is you're talking about, they think they know more about it than you do, even if you have a PhD in said subject. They could not understand this subject themselves, and they would still try to act like they have more knowledge and are more formally educated than you are, regardless if they are or are not. Deliberately antagonize. And if a narcissist feels that they may lose an argument, sometimes they will pull this ace out of their pockets. If a narcissist goes on the offensive to wind you up, they usually know which buttons to push to provoke a reaction in you. And a lot of the times this happens when a narcissist gets backed into a corner and has no other excuse. And a lot of the times you've got to be really careful with the narcissist who's backed in the corner, because this is when they can get not only verbally abusive but physically abusive as well. This brings us to shifting the argument to something else. And if a narcissist has managed to antagonize you, it's easier for them to switch the focus of the argument without them noticing, because you're so emotional you cannot think clearly. Your thought process is clouded, and by stealth they switch the argument to something they know that they will win while you're in this vulnerable state. It's a classic. When you swear at them and that you're being antagonized, they switch the focus of the argument to be about your insult to them, about your being upset. That is an insult to the narcissist. There's no need to call me that out of the thin blue air whenever you haven't said a word to the narcissist. I've heard many stories about narcissists fighting with thin air, literally fighting with themselves when their partners refuse to participate. Next, we have intimidation, and some, if not all, narcissists eventually resort to threatening language or verbal abuse to win an argument, and a small percentage, unfortunately, resort to physical violence. Some do this deliberately to win an argument or just to get a hit of narcissistic supply when they are running low, especially on their secondary supplies, as well if their primary supply is in the devalue stage. And out of frustrations and because of their delusions of control and omnipotence, are challenged, this is what happens. Their narcissistic rage is fueled by this. Gaslighting. So this brings us to the classic "you're crazy" that we have all heard the narcissist say to us and tell others about us. This is to get you to doubt your take on reality, your conscious reality as you know it. And this is a very insidious form of abuse. Sometimes they'll accuse you of being jealous. Convincing you to doubt your own sense of reality gives them the upper hand in every single situation, no matter how big or how small, that they are going to find you in while you are together and outside of the relationship if you do not go no contact. They can pull anything. If they feel like they're losing an argument, they can pull everything and anything out of the bag. So don't allow them to be the narrator of your reality. Storming out. When they're feeling the heat, some narcissists automatically just go on the run and give you the subsequent silent treatment thereafter, which is shifting the blame onto you, making you focus on begging them to come back home, calling them over and over and over again, worried that they've driven themselves into a ditch somewhere because they drove off in such a crazy rage. They retain some of that control whenever they can do that to you. And they don't lose the argument if they're not around. So you're gaining absolutely zero ground. And let me tell you in the closing, narcissists are not interested in any type of adult debate, conversation, anything that is constructive to your relationship. They are interested in destruction and reactions, things that are going to feed them the narcissistic fuel that it is they desire, whether it is positive or negative.